Hi, everyone. This is Laura Talemis from Attuned Yoga Wellness. It is, what's today? Monday. It is Monday, December 31st. Happy New Year, almost. Um, so I've been pretty absent this past week. My kids have been home from school. Things have been a little bit chaotic this week between Christmas and New Year's is always a little bit insane. I feel like everyone falls into this bizarre vortex. So it's a moment to reflect on potentially how you are feeling in this moment and also how you are feeling as we move and transition through this threshold, moving from 2018 to 2019. We can use this portal. We can use this point in time. We can use this threshold to make a different choice, to create our life in the way we choose to create, to shift our paradigm, to shift our rituals, to shift our actions, to shift how we are engaging our daily experience. And in doing so, in creating that shift, we get to potentially shift our lives. If we do the same thing that we always do and we expect something to change, that's not going to happen. Good luck with that. That doesn't usually work. So there's this element of manifesting, of putting our mind and our heart and our actions in a certain place, focusing our desire in a certain way in order to create a certain outcome. And we can muster all of that desire and with all of our might, but the reality is if we don't take the appropriate next action, then ultimately we're going to stay stuck and we're going to be in the same place. So it is important to set the intention. It is important to create and commit to those desires, and then in that commitment, create boundary. So when we commit to something, we say yes to something and no to something else. And those commitments, they create almost like the banks of a river. They align our actions, they align our flow. And so when we align our flow and we take action within that flow, then we get to ultimately create what we desire. Now, it doesn't always work that way, right? We can do all the right things and we still potentially don't get exactly the outcome we wanted. Sometimes we get a better outcome. Sometimes we get something else. So know that there are no real prescriptions for life. There are rituals, there are ways to make the mundane sacred. There are choices that are going to serve us and nourish us, and choices that are not going to. And very often we know the difference. We just don't always pay attention, and we don't always do what is actually going to serve us. Sometimes we make a choice that won't. Why we do this, I have no idea. This is part of our human nature. We mess ourselves up sometimes. It's just part of the deal. So we need to be gentle with ourselves. We need to be kind. We need to be compassionate, but then we also need to, make ourselves stick to our commitments. And when we stick to our commitments and we create those boundaries start to create the opening. They start to create the desired result. So what boundaries are you creating? What are you going to do for yourself to support your own well-being? For me, this past week has been such a treat because my kids have been out of school. So I haven't had to get up early in the morning to, make them lunch and get them off and get them out. But it messed up my sleep cycle because, I'm going to bed too late, I'm waking up too late, and those two things really matter. Those two things shift everything. And so how are you going to align? How are you going to engage, this moment? How are you going to shift the paradigm that you are living in? And how are you going to really set yourself up to live the life you want to live? How are you going to set yourself up so that you can cultivate the life that you want to create, not wish that it was something else, not want it to be something that it's not, but can you step into your own experience and literally in each breath become more yourself and take actions and align in a way that is going to serve you? So let's sit for a few moments, feel your sitting bones root, feel the body settle, see if you can find connection here to the seat. One of the best ways to really engage our experience is to pause and take notice. The reality is we don't spend enough time with ourselves in this way. So can you pause? And in that pause, can you start to really listen? So let the breath draw you inside. Feel the rise and the fall of the breath. Feel the pulsation of the breath and the wave of the breath. And let that wave draw you in. And feeling that space at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale, that little portal space where we really jump through the threshold. We jump from one moment to the next. And in that space, in that threshold, can we dive deeper into our own heart? This is where we get access to ourselves. And every breath is that opportunity for access. And just taking a moment here to reflect, what do you want to commit to? Are there certain intentions you want to set for your year? I don't love the idea of New Year's resolutions because I feel like we make New Year's resolutions on January 1st, and by February 1st, they are fizzled out, done, and over. And so can you commit to yourself that you're going to live your best life, that you're going to show up for yourself, that you're going to listen to your own heart? And so feeling in and breathing into the space of the heart. Allowing yourself to really feel your body breathe. Maybe you can feel the beat of your heart. Maybe you can start to notice any sensations that are showing themselves. Maybe you can feel the air on your skin. And so we take the moment of pause to recalibrate, to access ourselves, to simply be present to what is. Because really the only way we shift anything and create change is by receiving exactly where you are in this moment. This is not it's New Year, we're going to start over. Well, yeah, you can start over, but the reality is you still have yourself. You still have everything that came before this moment, and that's a good thing. So can you harness that wisdom? Can you really know what you know? And then from that sense of deep knowing and understanding, can you launch yourself forward in a way that is going to serve you, that is going to support you, that is going to hold you? And what does that mean? It means something different for everyone. Are there paradigms or ideas, or are there tapes running through your head, those conversations you have inside that maybe you want to leave behind? And that's easier said than done. The first part is noticing them, noticing that they're even there. Maybe those tapes of unworthiness, or those conversations that you somehow put yourself in your own way rather than champion for yourself, or become that warrior that you can show up and push through and fight through whatever you need to create the life that you want. And so breathing in, accessing that power that you hold here in the depths of your being, finding that internal support, finding that space that allows you to be more connected and present. These moments of reflection can be so valuable. They can offer you yourself and the opportunity to simply listen, to deeply listen to your own presence, to that wisdom speaking through you. And then can you breathe into it and trust? Draw your hands into prayer in front of your heart. Feel the breath in your back body. Just gently bowing your head to your heart and to your body and to your mind, to everything that you hold here, to honoring yourself, to honoring your commitments, to honoring your intentions, to anything you want to plant here in your own heart. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I will see you next year. Happy New Year. Bye.